Welcome everyone to our weekly video. And this week, Frankie and I, Frankie was asleep on my lap, are interviewing Bill and Ginny Priestner. And how long you've been a parishioner for 70-something years?
75.
75 years. And so I think he's one of the longest living members of the parish here. If anyone out there can top Bill more than 75 years, definitely let me know and we'll get you on the website as well. But I know, Bill, when we were talking before, you mentioned that you lived in Midland Park and you would actually walk to church all the way here to Wyckoff. And I'd be excited to hear you speak about how the church originally was at the corner of Everett and
Clinton.
Everett and Clinton, which now I think there's like a doctor's office and other stuff that's there. But could you just share with our parishioners a little bit, whatever fond memories you have of the old church, or what it was like walking back and forth?
There's so many things. Most of my lifetime, the early 20-some years in the parish, was very active, and then of course you go into other stages in your life.
Right.
But
those first 20 years you were, I presume you were an altar boy?
Right.
So, in nomine Patris et Filii
Spiritus Sanctus.
Amen. Dominus vobiscum.
Ecum Spiritu tuo.
He's good. Still remember all of
The
that.
Sosifiat was
The Sosifiat, that's a hard one.
That's Latin is beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. So you were an altar server. I think you said you and your brothers were like the choir, right?
Yes, for a number, not a long time, maybe 5 or 6 years. But then, of course, there was other choirs at the time, but they were not organized. So we ended up being a little organized by accident, and the help of Miss Mercado, who taught music in Midland Park, and she kept after us until
she taught music at the public school in Midland Park.
That's correct.
And she was the choir director?
No, she just
a volunteer.
She knew Father Harkins.
Okay.
And Father Harkins and her drafted us.
And they drafted you and how many of your brothers?
6.
6 of your brothers.
Yes.
Wow. How many were in your family?
15.
15 children?
8 boys and 7 girls.
8 boys and 7 girls. Wow. You definitely win the prize for the biggest family in the parish. And so tell me about Father Harkins. Tell me about, so he was the pastor. I presume he was a Franciscan.
No, this was a missionary parish. St. Anne's and Fairlawn, of course, the Franciscans. They would come up by train or most probably by car.
Okay.
And there was a little room they built on the old church. But there is no rectory.
Okay, there's no rectory. But the priest would come up from Fairlawn.
Right. And he lived in St. Anne's.
Okay.
But there was a little bed in case he got in trouble with the snow or something, he could stay here.
Right. So if he came to celebrate a mass, it was bad weather. I gotcha.
Yes, that's for true.
Now, tell me about your music director. I remember one time you told me the funny story when you boys were being a little mischievous.
We were always mischievous.
Always mischievous. Okay.
Yes, right.
I love the story about the shoes. Could you tell our parishioners about the shoes?
Well, she always wore high heels, and we always were kidding her about being wobbly and that. And then we would hide the shoes on her. And when she went up to go to, because sometimes she played the organ without her shoes.
Right.
And we'd hide them on her. She had to go up to get communion in her stockings.
In her stockings. Did you ever apologize?
Well, she knew we had.
Yeah, she knew. She knew you guys were just...
There's a closeness.
Yeah. That's very funny. I think I may try that here at the parish.
Yeah.
I'll hide Cheryl's high heels. If Cheryl wears high heels.
Well, we used to have to pump the organ
Pump? What do you mean by pump the organ?
Well, you had to pump the organ because I had no electricity. It's a little old organ, and so somebody
Like a
had
foot pump or something?
no, you had to pump it with 2 feet, just like,
Oh, wow.
and then sometimes we had a pump while she played. It was a big joke sometimes.
Wow. Wow.
But, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Now, and you guys have been married for how long?
Well, almost 55 years.
Almost 55 years. Wow. That is amazing. And Ginny, tell me some of your remembrances of this. I mean,
Well-
do you remember that little church?
No, no.
So when you came here, it was,
It was here.
which
here
is the
in
gym
Wycliffe.
now.
Yeah, right. And actually, his father, was buried out of that church. And there was one time when they were redoing it. They were over in Eisenhower School. We had church over there for a short time.
Oh, at the public school
At
here?
the public school in
Eisenhower
Wycliffe,
School.
yeah.
Yes.
And then the first time we came back to
72.
church here,
I was in
that's
70.
the first thing was his father's funeral at the then renovated church. It
Right.
was what, 1972.
Two.
Yeah.
Wow. So in that church I know was built in 54, 55.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Right.
When I came back from,
Yeah.
Were you in Korea? Did you serve?
yes, I'm a Korean vet.
A Korean vet. So when you came back, they were just building the.
Yes,
Right.
and then the volunteers had to finish a lot of the church. Mr. Latrecchia, he was a builder. I worked for him by accident.
By
One
accident?
night, yes.
Okay.
One night I was putting up tiles in the ceilings in the classrooms. And
Here at our classroom.
Yes.
Okay.
I had never met the gentleman before, and he was looking for somebody to go to work, and I said, sure, I'll start in the morning.
Oh wow. And how long did you work for him?
7.5 years.
7.5 years. Wow. Really providential. And so you helped to build then part of the school and the church and.
No, not really. We did a lot of Mr. Latrecchia and some other people, old parishioners. They spent a lot of. They were in business, and they spent a lot of time here.
Mm.
You know, a lot of it was volunteer. It's a different thing. Just like say, the old church.
Mm-hmm.
The old church, you knew almost everybody in there.
Right. Right.
And when they had Christmas Eve or some other time when the church was busy, even on Sunday sometimes, the people had to stand on a little porch because there was no room in the church.
Oh wow. So the community was definitely growing then.
Oh, definitely.
Wow.
And it grew ever since I knew now I hardly know anybody in the parish anymore.
I know. You guys are usually at the 9 o'clock mass, right?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
9
At
o'clock.
9 o'clock mass, and you're over near the St. Francis statue.
Right.
Yes.
So if you're ever at mass at the 9 o'clock mass, it's Ginny and Bill Priestner. They're usually near the St. Francis statue, like second or third row back, right on that side. they have their spot. But I really thank you for coming on. Is there anything else you want to share with our parishioners? Any other? I mean, that's a long time to be in a parish, and as you
Yeah.
said, it's been growing and growing, and even now
Right.
we continue to grow.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
last year we had 108, I think, new families who joined the parish. So
Yeah, well, you have been a wonderful addition to our parish.
Oh,
There for
thank
a
you.
while, it was stagnant, I guess is the word I'm looking for.
okay,
And it's getting very, very vital again now, which is really super. You do so
It's
much.
a big responsibility. It's such a difference from the beginning
hmm
of the parish,
yeah,
where everybody knew everybody, and everybody knew the poor people and the rich people.
right,
And now it's gigantic.
yeah. No, it
There's
is.
so many things they do.
Right.
And of course, I'm not that active in a lot of the things because I have no time.
Right.
You retire and you lose your time.
You lose your time when you retire, right? That's what my dad told me when he retired. He's like, I'm busier now than when I was working, and he
Exactly.
worked long hours too. So.
Yeah, it's true.
But I thank you for coming on, and I thank you
thank
for
you.
sharing your stories. And And really, it's been a joy, and we're going to put this on the website very soon. And speaking of the parish growing, as I mentioned in my bulletin that will appear this weekend, we're hoping to break ground for the new daily mass chapel, which will be the last kind of full extension. And you'll have the little entry point, right, kind of where you guys sit. That'll be a little entry point into the daily mass chapel. But I hope that you will enjoy it, and you'll help us to christen it once we get it ready.
Sure
but if we get the permission from the state, which is the last thing we're looking for, once we get that, we're going to break ground, which we hope to break ground in August. I wanted to break ground in June, if you remember. I told you that.
Yes.
But the county got involved and the state got involved, so it delayed us a little bit. But we're determined, and we got the town approval, we got the county approval, and now the state just has to help us with the one last thing. So.
Oh, that's great.
But it'll be exciting, really exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll ask you to help us put up tiles in the ceiling or something.
I don't think so.
No, Bill, I can't.
No ladders. No ladders.
No ladders. Okay.
And the doctor told him no ladders.
No ladders. Okay.
He's
Well,
still quite active, but
I'm sure he is. I see him get around very well.
Yeah.
All right.
But
We'll give you something else to do then. Well, why don't you say wave bye to our parishioners? Bye.
Bye.
See you in church.
It's a pleasure, Father.
Thank you.
Yes, it's
Thank
been
you,
nice
thank
getting
you.
to know you.
It's been a pleasure getting to know you too, and it's a beautiful atmosphere we have right now in the parish. So thanks.
It is nice.
Thanks for
It
coming.
really it's come a long, long way. I mean, there for a while it was. I mean, we still came to mass and everything, but especially after some of the Franciscans left, a couple of Bill's friends, they left. They went to Pumpkin.
They went to
followed the faith.
St. Mary's in Pumpkin Lakes.
Yeah, it's
Because
hard
it was
when
just
the
it was such
Franciscans-
a different feel.
Yeah, that's the problem. When a parish goes from being a religious community to diocesan, that initial transition's always hard. But
Yeah.
I think we have that spirit of the Franciscans here
Yeah.
now.
Oh, I
so-
think you do.
Yeah.
I think it's, especially with Father Vincent and yourself.
And Father Carlos and
Carlos.
At one time, we only had one priest and assistant.
yeah.
And then for a while, we had two. But, and it's hard.
He dragged out some of the old books from St. Elizabeth's, and when Father Gunther he had a dog. Yeah, that was
Oh
funny.
yeah, I heard about his
And
dog.
his little
yeah.
dog would prance up right in the middle of mass. He was cute though.
Yeah.
But when Father Gunther was here too, it was pretty lively. The church was pretty lively. But then I don't know, it just kind of lost its.
It has ups and downs,
Ups and
just
downs,
like,
like
just
It's
like
like
a bell
everything.
curve.
Just like everything, right?
Yeah, just like the music program.
Yeah, ups
The
and
music.
downs.
And of course Manfred.
And
he
Manfred.
was-
I know. I never met
25.
him, but I've heard so much about him.
Well, he had
put
his
on,
own.
he had his own, but they
He
put
had
on
his own
Jesus
business.
Christ Superstar here in our church.
Wow.
It was better than the Broadway production.
Wow.
It was phenomenal.
Wow.
And I still see a couple of the people, I don't remember names well, but that sang, of course they're older now.
Right.
But he was absolutely fantastic.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and he did. And Cheryl.
Yeah, Cheryl, yeah.
Yeah, well,
Cheryl's
she sang
been
at
around
our
forever.
son's wedding, and
She's
you
been
know,
around
Cheryl
forever.
for a long, long time.
Wow.
I lost my voice. I had an operation
Oh, okay.
on my neck.
Right. But
But
thank you for coming.
Well, thank you, and we
so,
will-
so much. Really, really appreciate it. And I'm glad you got to meet Frankie.
yeah, he's nice.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd
He's
like
very
to have
attached to me.
another one, but
When I got him, well, Kathy probably, did you tell him?
Yeah.
That he was about this size.
oh my gosh, yeah.
And he would just could like fit in the palm of your hand, and he purred like a Ferrari engine. Tiny little thing. And I didn't want to keep you at first because I was too much with one cat. But now I think he thinks I'm his mother or something.
Yeah, right.
He does not leave my side. I sit at my desk, he's on my lap, I go lay down, he's right next to me. Right,
They're so
Frankie?
much company. They really are.
They're good.
And they don't talk back, and they're always welcoming.
Yeah, you don't talk back, right? Yeah, good boy.
Yeah.
Good boy. All right, well, again,
Well, thank you
thank you.
so
Thank
much.
you. So I'll get this clip off.
oh, you're a busy man.
Yeah, sorry about that.